All right, today we're diving into a really fascinating philosophical story called Neither Life Nor Not. It's a narrative that really makes you question everything you think you know about who you are, about identity, memory, and consciousness itself. And it kicks off with a dedication that, honestly, tells you everything you need to know.
And right away, this line just hits you. It's not some pretty, poetic opening, it's the whole point of the story laid bare. And notice, it's not addressed to a character in a book. It's addressed directly to you, to that timeless part of you that's listening to this right now.
So let's get into it. The story just throws us right into this completely impossible situation. We have a man who has come back to a city where 70 years ago he died.
And that man is Marcus. Now, on the surface, he's a young guy, maybe 30 years old, but when you look in his eyes, you see a history that just doesn't add up with his age. He's walking down these streets and he remembers them perfectly from a life that ended decades before he was even born. He is, for all intents and purposes, a ghost wearing a new body.
And this is where things get really wild. You've got this impossible timeline, right? 70 years ago, he's here. He lives, he teaches, he dies. Then, just a gap, a blank space the story calls a dissolution of self. And now, bam, he's back. Young, healthy, and with every single memory from that past life perfectly preserved. The story doesn't even try to explain how. It's way more interested in what it all means.
Okay, so here's the absolute key to understanding Marcus. He's already had this huge realization. He sees that the self, his name, Marcus, his past, his personality, all of it, is just a story. It's a temporary construct. But the awareness experiencing that story, that silent presence that's just looking out through his eyes, that, he knows, is continuous. It was never born, so it can't ever really die.
But get this, it gets even weirder. Marcus isn't alone. Other people from his past life are walking around this city too. The catch? They have no idea. They're just living out their old habits, their old emotional patterns, but in brand new lives, with new faces.
And you can see it so clearly when you lay it all out. Take Vera. In her past life, she was the builder. She created this big spiritual institute that ended up trapping people. Now, she's Marina, an archivist, someone who just preserves what other people have already built. See the echo? Or George, the manipulator who craved power, is now Anton, a consultant, who's so afraid of connection he just observes everything from a safe distance. The core patterns are still there, just softer, wearing new masks.
So where do all these threads, all these disconnected souls, start to come together? In a café. The very same one Marcus used to go to all those years ago. One by one, they just show up. They're drawn to this place and to him, and they have absolutely no clue why. It's like they're all satellites caught in his quiet gravity.
Okay, so you've got this whole group of people basically sleepwalking through their new lives, totally unaware of their shared past. What in the world could possibly wake them up? Well, it's not some grand dramatic event. It's something simple, something you could hold in your hand, a photograph.
And it all starts with Marina, the archivist. She's just doing her job, right? She finds this old, dusty box that hasn't been touched in decades. Inside are all these documents from that very consciousness movement Marcus led 70 years ago. And as she's digging through a folder, there it is, tucked away at the very bottom.
The second she lays eyes on this photo, her rational mind just stops. It makes no sense. These are total strangers from a time long before she was born. But the feeling, that feeling is undeniable. It's not, that person looks familiar. It's deeper. As she puts it, it's straight up recognition.
So what do you even do with something like that? An impossible photograph? Her mind is reeling, but some deep instinct just takes over. She knows exactly where she has to go. She grabs that photo and heads straight for the cafe.
And she walks in, she finds the others, and she says it. I found something. I think it's us. And just like that, boom, 70 years of amnesia comes crashing down. The past is no longer the past. It's right there, on the table, looking back at them.
And this is the moment Marcus has been waiting for. The chaos, the disbelief, the confusion from that photograph, it creates the perfect opening for him to finally explain what's really going on, to share the truth that he's been living with this whole time.
So he breaks it down for them. He says, look, the self, the person you think you are, your name, your job, your personality, that's just a story. It's a temporary pattern that is born and then it dies. But awareness, that's like the space where the story happens. The story unfolds within it. The story ends, but the space itself was always there. It can't die.
And he puts it so beautifully. The stories are different. Vera's life story is not Marina's life story. They're completely separate. But the thing that looked out of Vera's eyes, the thing that felt the world through her heart, and the thing that's doing it right now is Marina, that consciousness has no name. It's the same constant silent witness.
So, okay, that's their incredible journey. But what about us? What are we supposed to take away from this profound story of recognition?
Well, it leaves us with some pretty huge ideas to chew on. First, that your true identity isn't your personal history. Second, that our deepest patterns, the running, the building, the grasping, they'll just keep repeating in different forms until we finally see them with real awareness. Third, that true recognition, that aha moment, doesn't come from thinking harder. It happens when the mind just gets quiet. And finally, and this is the big one, that our fear of death is based on a mistaken identity. The story ends for sure, but the awareness watching it doesn't.
And that brings us to the final question. The whole story is really asking you. It's a real game changer. What if who you really are isn't this fragile history you have to constantly protect and defend, but a vast, open awareness that's just waiting to be discovered?